So for anybody who grows houseplants, you will probably know that this is a Monstera deliciosa, or otherwise known as Mexican breadfruit. And these plants actually grow natively throughout Central and South America. Now, I have been really struggling with how to bring actually some of the larger plants into frame, and I've been pushing off Monstera deliciosa, largely because the large one that I am growing is in my bedroom, and there'd be no way that I could actually move it into frame. So I'm kind of cheating with this one, admittedly, because I recently bought this and it's not so big that I couldn't actually fit it into frame. But I have to admit, it was such a good deal because I got it for $19, which in this day and age, that really doesn't happen, because Monstera deliciosa, even though it's been kind of like popular for a while, it's still very popular. And I bought it at my supermarket for 19 bucks. And literally the next day there was only 2 left, and there was probably like 2 dozen in the store. So I ended up like moving in on that. But you can see there's a nice little new leaf. It's a little bit mangled because, you know, sending those things to the supermarket, it gets a little bit mangled. But it's a good opportunity for people to have and try this plant in their home. Now, I have been growing Monstera deliciosa for probably 8 years now. So I have Monstera deliciosa throughout my home in various different stages of development. And the first time I got my Monstera, I'd put it in my southwest facing window, and that gets a lot of intense light. In fact, probably too intense of light for a Monstera deliciosa. However, it didn't know any better, and it would stick its little plant face into the window, and it would get a little bit scorched, so it would get yellow leaves. But I have to tell you, that thing grew like a monster, and ended up sticking out some of their adventitious roots onto the floor, and then I would put those roots in water, and then it just got like incredibly large. So I eventually had to move it out of my formerly my bedroom, which has now become my workroom, which is this room, and had to move that out into the other room. And then I ended up getting another large Monstera that was sent to me, and I just recently trellised it. And that unfortunately has a little bit of thrips pressure, which thrips are like a scraping kind of insect. So some of the leaves get a little bit of a silvery marking. So it is susceptible to some plant pests, unfortunately. So you will have to kind of look out for that. So this plant is one that really thrives I call these plants a little bit more like Goldilocks plants, because it's nice kind of high indirect or kind of medium bright indirect light. They would like a little bit of humidity. You don't need to go overboard on the humidity. And they also like to keep a little bit more of moderate moisture, so letting it dry out thoroughly, or also putting its roots into water. I find that when you actually do that, the plants tend to have a tendency to grow much more prolifically. Putting it in too high of light, like I said, will make the plant actually go chlorotic. And if you have some level of infrequency in watering the plant, so say you're not watering it on a regular basis and you're letting it dry out too much, or you're giving it too much water and it's asphyxiating the roots, oftentimes the leaves will start to go brown and they won't like fully develop. So that is, again, something that you have to look out for when it comes to your Monstera deliciosa. As far as fertilizing these plants go, fertilizing them on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, especially during the growing season, because they do have a tendency to grow and it's a lot of foliage. I would say even a 20-20-20, 20-10-10, if you want to focus a little bit more on the foliage, as if you're going the synthetic route, and an organic route, maybe like a 2-1-1, and fertilizing it more frequently during the growing season, because boy, oh boy, these plants really do grow.